Okay.
This is the rehearse
Yeah,
bit.
this is the rehearse bit and we get it wrong. Yeah. We've kind of talked before about how, if we're looking at doing chatbots and things like that,
Yeah.
it's kind of got to the point where that's old news for us. I think with the rest of kind of the space catching up to that point, it becomes easier and easier to do that older stuff and it becomes more accessible. So I think that, we talked before about how it's kind of like that race to the bottom of like when you get these sort of more mainstream things to do, suddenly it becomes a lot easier to do those things and more accessible. So you see more companies spinning out like, more often now creating these like chat GPT wrappers essentially.
Yeah.
And it has got to the point now where you can kind of just off the shelf get one of these things quite easily.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, where do you see Parallax kind of like in that space, and how do you see us being more beneficial to go with? Like, what do we offer instead of that?
Yeah. So what Parallax do is, I mean, we've been working with LLM since before ChatGPT came out, so we've got a lot of experience in what not to do, but it's really about finding the business value. So we'll do user story mapping and we'll map out the business value for each use case. And we'll really get into the guts of how we can deliver these things. There's no point us delivering something that you can pick off the shelf. And I don't think putting a chatbot on your website, I don't think that's the exciting thing anymore. And I think a lot of consumers, both B2B and B2C, sort of turned off by that kind of thinking. I think a lot of the business value comes from those just little tweaks, those little hints of adding AI into a process, and doing it in a way which is reliable and measurable. So, yeah, when companies come to Parallax, we can give that sort of breadth of experience, and we know we've got a good feel on what's going to work and what isn't. So we can rule certain routes out.
Yeah.
But actually, we can try the stuff that does work in a controlled way. So I think that's where we're going with it. And obviously, we've always been quite cutting edge. We've always been trying to push boundaries and do exciting stuff tech-wise, even on the IoT side. So we were doing over-the-air update with LoRaWAN back when the LoRa Alliance said it wasn't possible. So we've always been able to pull stuff out the bag and do stuff that's quite just to the edge of what's possible.
Yeah, I was going to follow up with, do you think the Parallax's exposure to the IoT stuff and working more in the physical world, like gives us a bit of a leg up when it comes to creating some of these applications that are moving to be more, if we're looking at warehouse and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these things can be intertwined quite nicely, especially with like vision models and robotics and automation. I think they're all very interesting spaces for us. I mean, we've got a lab full of like streetlights and it's the first internet connected ice bath and loads of like toys, as other people call them when they come around. But these are real commercial projects. These are actually delivering value for the clients that we build them for. So yeah, I think we are operating an exciting space, and we know enough to get these projects over the line, and we've been burnt enough in the past by lots of these niggles, like getting the quality that we need out of an LLM or the lower level sort of IoT stuff, like sending bits and bytes over the air. We know all the nuts and bolts, so we can get your company there a lot quicker than maybe someone trying to learn all this from scratch.
Yeah. Do you think that because we've had that exposure to kind of like looking at this for so long and like you said, getting burned by it, we can kind of like stop and identify the bits where maybe people are either getting drawn into the hype or maybe not even realizing where the hype is. In some cases, like I know that a lot of people we've spoken to, maybe they don't realize the potential of what they could do. So they come into it being like, oh, we just kind of want to add a chatbot to a website. And then really, they have a bunch of further problems or, issues that they could resolve with different AI use cases that maybe they haven't thought of. And it's kind of like, well, you're just trying to solve this one thing that maybe like getting customers more engaged on your website and stuff like that. But maybe if you looked at, recommendation engines and things like that, and how like those sorts of things are going to be way more valuable to you than like kind of just, I guess, combating the symptoms of just chucking an AI onto the page to get people to ask questions to that. So it's maybe solving the wrong problem.
Yeah, you want to get people to zoom out a bit and go like, what are their business problems more generally, rather than coming with a preformed solution and going, oh, I would need this chatbot, or I need this assistant or LLM to do this. Often just taking a step back and looking at the whole company, it's much easier for us to spot those things, having done quite a few of them already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the value that you can get coming to Parallax, and coming to our applied AI events and all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.